Hi there, and welcome back to the British Accent Podcast. I'm Emily.
And I'm Nick. We're really glad you're tuning in again. Today's episode is one that sits close to the heart, because it's about something a lot of us quietly wrestle with, feeling two things at once.
Exactly. We're talking about that strange space where happiness and sadness live side by side. Like, when you're smiling with your friends, but there's still a quiet ache inside you, and you wonder if that means something's wrong with you.
Yeah. The truth is, we've kind of been taught to believe that emotions have to be neat. One at a time. All or nothing. But real life just isn't like that. Sometimes you're okay and not okay at the same time, and that's completely normal.
I think a lot of people feel this pressure to always be either fine or falling apart. But what if you're both? What if you're genuinely grateful for your life, but still carry a sadness you can't fully explain?
Exactly. Maybe you're in love but missing someone. Maybe you're proud of how far you've come, but grieving the time it took to get here. Maybe you laugh during the day and cry at night. That doesn't make you broken, it just makes you human.
And it's so important to normalize that. To stop treating mixed emotions like a problem to fix. Because if you don't allow space for both, you end up dismissing real parts of yourself. You start thinking, if I'm sad, maybe I don't deserve to be happy. Or the other way round.
Yeah, like you need to pick a side emotionally. But feelings aren't that binary. You can feel joyful and disappointed. Relieved and afraid. Peaceful and still mourning something you lost.
And actually, when you let both exist, life feels fuller. You stop pretending. You stop forcing yourself to choose between being okay or not okay, and instead, you just are.
I think it's in those moments that we start becoming more honest with ourselves. Like, I'm doing all right today, but I still miss how things used to be. And that's okay. Nothing's wrong with you for holding both.
And the thing is, we live in a culture that often asks us to shrink our emotions into something tidy and palatable. Like, just be grateful, or don't dwell on the negative. But sometimes, both gratitude and grief are speaking at the same time.
Right. You might be grateful for where you are now but still mourn the version of you that had to struggle to get here. That doesn't make you ungrateful, it makes you aware. Aware of your journey. Aware of your emotional depth.
And the more we try to silence one side of that emotional truth, the more disconnected we become from ourselves. It's okay to feel heavy even when your life looks light from the outside.
Sometimes that's when it hits the hardest, isn't it? When people say, you've got everything going for you, and you smile, nod, but inside you're thinking, why does something still feel missing?
Exactly. And it takes a lot of self-compassion to not judge yourself for that. To say, yeah, things are good right now. And still, I feel low sometimes. And that's okay.
And honestly, it's not a contradiction, it's just complexity. Human beings aren't one note. We hold layers. Memories. Fears. Hopes. And they don't all arrive on a schedule. They just coexist.
There's something really freeing about allowing both. Like, maybe joy doesn't cancel out sadness. Maybe healing doesn't mean you never hurt again. Maybe being okay doesn't mean you're always smiling.
That's the shift, isn't it? When you realize that you're not doing life wrong just because you feel multiple things at once. You're just feeling deeply, and that's actually a strength, not a flaw.
And I think the real courage is in staying present with it. Not rushing to numb it, not needing to label it as good or bad, just allowing it to be what it is, and trusting that it'll shift in its own time.
Yeah, because feelings do move. Even the heavy ones. But when you push them away or pretend they're not there, they tend to linger longer. It's weird how giving them space actually helps them soften.
It's kind of like weather, isn't it? You don't blame the sky for having clouds. You just let them pass. You still go about your day. You might take a coat or an umbrella, but you don't try to control the whole sky.
That's a beautiful way to put it. And honestly, when we give ourselves that kind of emotional permission, we make it safer for other people to do the same. Like, if I can sit with my joy and my sadness, I'm less likely to judge someone else for feeling both too.
It creates connection. Because how many of us have said, "I'm fine," when we weren't fully fine, but didn't feel allowed to say, "I'm okay, but also a bit off today." Imagine how different things would feel if that was a normal response.
Totally. We spend so much energy pretending to be either or when real strength comes from living in the both and. Both tired and grateful. Both proud and still healing. Both hopeful and scared.
And honestly, it's in that both space where real life happens. That's where you start realizing you're not failing at being human, you're just finally letting yourself be one.
And once you accept that duality, you start noticing it everywhere. Like, you can feel peace in your home and still miss places you've left. You can enjoy your own company and still feel lonely sometimes. Both truths can sit side by side.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't mean you're emotionally unstable, or ungrateful, or overthinking. It means you're emotionally alive. You're responding to life as it actually is, not how you wish it would be.
And sometimes we need that reminder, because social media especially tends to flatten emotion. You scroll through perfect images and filtered moments, and it makes you feel like your quiet sadness doesn't belong. But it does. It's part of your humanity.
It really does. And honestly, I think it's incredibly brave to carry joy and pain at the same time. To show up for your life, while still nursing invisible wounds. It means you haven't given up on either hope or truth.
And there's so much strength in that balance. It's easy to shut down or numb out, but staying open to both light and dark takes inner resilience. You're not swinging from one extreme to the other, you're walking the line in between. That's where real maturity grows.
And let's be honest, some of the most beautiful moments in life carry a hint of sadness. Like finishing a chapter you loved. Saying goodbye to something that shaped you. Even the best days can bring a lump to your throat.
Exactly. And when we stop fearing those feelings, we start to actually feel our lives more fully. It's no longer about performing happiness, it's about experiencing life in all its shades.
And you know what else? Sometimes the sadness is there to remind us how much we've cared. How deeply we've loved. How real something was, even if it's no longer in our lives.
That's such a good point. Sadness doesn't always mean something's wrong, it can mean something mattered. It was meaningful enough to miss, important enough to grieve.
And when you make space for that, without trying to fix it or rush through it, you actually start building trust with yourself. You learn that you can carry discomfort and still be okay.
It's like emotional honesty. Saying to yourself, I'm allowed to feel both. I'm allowed to laugh at breakfast and cry at night. I'm allowed to hold joy in one hand and grief in the other. That's real self-acceptance.
And not everything needs a solution. Some feelings just need a place to land. A bit of breathing room. Someone, maybe even just yourself, to say, yeah, I see you. I get it.
Because when you honor those layered moments, you stop being so hard on yourself. You stop expecting to always feel one clear thing. And instead, you learn to live in the grays, which is where most of life happens anyway.
It really is. And it's such a relief when you stop trying to be fine all the time. Like, what if we just allowed ourselves to be real? Not dramatic, not numb, just real.
That's it. Real is enough. Feeling both happy and sad is enough. You don't have to explain it, justify it, or push it away. You're not broken for feeling deeply, you're just beautifully human.
So if you're listening right now and you've been feeling a little bit of everything lately, just know it's okay. You're not alone. Life isn't black and white, and you're allowed to feel joy without guilt, and sadness without shame.
Absolutely. Let this be your reminder that you don't have to be one thing to be whole. You can carry both light and heaviness and still be moving forward. You're doing better than you think.
Thanks so much for being here with us. If today's episode gave you a bit of comfort or clarity, feel free to share it with someone who might need to hear it too.
And remember, your feelings, no matter how mixed, are valid. Always. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you next time on the British Accent Podcast.
Bye for now.